Ow.
This was a traditional germinating greenhouse. We still use it for that. It has bottom heat with a boiler that runs hot water underneath the benches and heats the bottoms of the trays, and it germinates really fast. Now we're using it for sprouts. We turn over about 1,000 trays of sprouts a week. In this space, we are doing about $30 a square foot because we turn these over, every week. And we shade these. You can see these sunflower sprouts, when they get about this tall, we shave them, and then it goes right back into compost, and the soil gets better and better. We grow them in worm castings and foyer, coconut fiber. That's what we grow the stuff in. This system right here is called aquaponics. All we're doing is lifting water on the other end with one pump, and it gravity feeds this way and goes into the system, so you're recirculating the same water. There's about 10,000 gallons of water, or maybe a little less, and the fish stay in here. This was dug down about 5 feet, and these are automatic feeders. So every 40 minutes or 20 minutes, these vibrate, food comes out. The water temperature stays between 17 Celsius and about 25 in the summertime. The plants act as a filter. We use, the best plant we found is watercress. These pots are full of our soil, so you get some leaching of the beneficial bacteria in the system that helps break down the solid food waste. When the fish give off their waste, it goes to the bottom, turns from ammonia to nitrate to nitrite, and these plants pull it out. Otherwise, the fish would die. These fish are cold water fish. They're carnivores, so they eat other fish and other snails or whatever they eat in Lake Michigan. The reason we're growing this fish is because the numbers in Lake Michigan have gone below a certain level, and the DNR won't let anybody commercially fish for yellow perch. Plus, they're mercury contaminated. So raising them in this type of system, this system costs about $3,000 with materials, and Jay's the contractor that puts these together with their staff, and we dig out the soil. This was all dug out by hand. I do the ceremonial first shovel, and then the volunteers and staff take it all out. So wheelbarrows, it goes in the wheelbarrows, and it goes. And you have this big trench, and then Jay goes to work and estimates the amount of material and puts it together. It's about $3,000 worth of material. This is 45 mil pond liner we use, and pretty simple system to construct. But of course, once you construct something, you have to learn how to maintain it. So you have to farm the system just like you would plants or anything else. So a lot of people can build this. I don't know how to build anything, but I do know how to raise plants and food and stuff like that. So you need different people with different skills a lot of times to make these things work. But I'm going to take out, we just today had the Great Lakes Institute in here, and they measured the fish and did a test. They took some fish away, they checked the tissue samples and do further measuring and research. We partner with them. They do our water quality testing every week. Great partnership. They provide the fingerlings when they're about an inch long a year ago. It takes 3 years in Lake Michigan to reach maturity. We're doing this in 1 year. Okay, we'll be eating these fish. As a matter of fact, they found some fish today big enough for harvesting and eat. We'll be at the end of April harvesting about 40% of these fish are ready for harvest. So, what we're going to do is try to bring some up so you guys can see what they look like.
Well, I've got some food right here.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That should be enough to bring a few up.
What are you feeding them?
This is a commercial food So that's about the size of some of them. There's some much bigger than that. Today we were sizing them, and you can see that all different sizes. We'll be eating some of these, and as you go through the greenhouse, Jake can show you some full-size fish that we have. But this system goes down, like I said, about 5 feet, and it's an interesting system in that this same system, commercial system with deep filters and where we suck out the waste and everything, and the commercial system would cost you about $50,000.
How long have you been doing this?
We've been doing this about 13 years. These fish are only our second year of doing it. But we do tilapia as well. We've been doing that for about 13 years. And we have a whole bunch of different systems. And this is a very hot thing right now. And we have our workshop. Everybody wants to take this. This and
How many tricks are in this particular?
10,000.
10,000?
Yeah, we stock it with 10,000. We've got another system that has about 6,000 in the back. These are actually giving off eggs. We found some fish roe in here. They're dropping their eggs. We don't know if that's not the purpose. They're not trying to breed these fish, but it's happening. Anyway, we put compost on top of the screen, lay the screen down, and this is what happens. They crawl through the screen. So they finish eating this stuff down below, and you got this wonderful worm castings down there, and they crawl through, and then you have the worms above the screen. So that's how we get them out. That's the friendliest way of getting the worms out of there. And this is like the third time that we've screened. It takes about a month to get the worm, 80 to 90% of the worms out of the system. Now there's about 7 different varieties of worms, about 5 different types of Acenia fetidas. And one of the ways that you can tell what worms are is a couple ways. Where their clitellum is located, and that's the little ring around, and how they move. The Acenia fetidas are more docile, whereas the Perionyx excavatus, they're called travelers, and they move very fast. These right here are Perionyx. I can tell by where the clitellum is located close to the head, and you can see how they're traveling. They want to get away. And the predominant worm that we have is Perionyx. That's one too. That's one also.
We trigger this feeding frenzy. No, I got all sorts of fish. So there's the tilapia. Couple of plate-sized fish in there. Getting wet. Yeah. Just to warn you, it's like being at the Purpose Show. If you sit in the front row, you're going to get wet. Wow. So we were always a little bit unclear how many fish were in that tank over there. But we drained the water, we were pulling the fish out, and it turned out there was about 1,000 fish in there. We had no idea. I thought there was a few hundred. So these are fish that are approaching market size. These, when we market them, we mostly doing them 2, 3, 5, 6 at a time, and we'll get them just like that. We'll throw some feed in there, and we'll net them, give them to you on ice, and then they're yours to deal with. When we start, we in the last year or so, we've started adding, there's probably 60,000 fish